The WNBA and Indiana have reportedly threatened to bar Caitlin Clark from returning to the league if she relocates overseas, and the Fever are doing everything in their power to keep her there. In the meantime, the disrespect that Fever has shown Clark over the past few weeks is unforgivable, and it is obvious that Fever's former manager, Stephanie White, did not like seeing Caitlin Clark.
Aaliyah Boston, you are amazing. Congratulations. What an amazing thing for you and for our franchise, you being Rookie of the Year. Everything you've done for us, you've made us better. You're going to continue to make us better. But congrats. So proud of you. You deserve every bit of that. Lynn, just wanted to say congratulations on Rookie of the Year. You've worked extremely hard to get this and to earn this award. Congratulations.
She gave Aaliyah Boston the warmest congratulations imaginable, but Caitlin hardly noticed her achievement. She gave her a brief 10-second speech, and that was all. In addition, Caitlin has repeatedly stated that she doesn't get advice from her colleagues.
And what's the best advice that has given you in game this season?
Nobody gives me advice in game. I wish.
The fact that the team's veterans declined to assist Caitlin further indicates that the former Fever coach wasn't a huge fan of her. Regretfully, this goes even farther and gives Caitlin even more motivation to stop the Fever.
Ow! Oh, I'm sorry. You poked me in the eye. You did.
I did not poke you.
Did you do it on purpose?
I did not poke you in the eye.
Nalissa Thomas allowed her girlfriend to tease Caitlin about having a black eye. The league wouldn't understand the kind of disrespect the Fever has displayed. The news of a huge offer from a European league has taken the basketball world by storm. This offer isn't just about a bigger paycheck, though that alone would be alluring for any player. It's about something deeper. If Caitlin left the WNBA, the league would be destroyed, and the Fever would return to where they were last year, receiving a first draft pick and finishing last in the league. This European offer is a huge chance for Caitlin to change her life, not just a passing fad. The European basketball landscape is renowned for providing its best players with all the resources they require to succeed.
Could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big.
Given the difficulties Caitlin has encountered in the league, the respect and admiration their players receive differs from what the WNBA has given her. For Caitlin, this goes beyond simply receiving a large salary. It's about feeling appreciated in ways she hasn't felt within the WNBA.
The best player in the country.
To the media or me?
As you see it.
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
Europe gives her the opportunity to earn more money, but it also gives her a platform where she won't be singled out or treated disrespectfully. The opportunity to perform overseas signifies her release from the toxic environment that has been dragging her down, and her unparalleled talent. Caitlin has every right to give this proposition careful thought. The WNBA is facing a problem as a result of Caitlin's possible relocation to Europe. The league, which has long battled to receive the kind of support and attention it needs to succeed, has greatly benefited from Clark's presence. The WNBA might lose everything Clark brought with her, including increased viewership, media attention, and the increased credibility that comes with having a player of her caliber. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA runs the risk of reverting to the same problems it had before to her ascent to fame. Her arrival offered the league a lifeline, an opportunity to grow, increase its fan base, and generate the money it sorely needs. Her exit would put the WNBA in a worse position than it was previously, fighting to survive without the one player who has kept it afloat. Her departure would also throw the league back years in terms of its overall credibility and financial health.
They decide what they want to do. We can point out how wrong it is. We can point out that that's a reality that shouldn't be a reality. But what we can't do is say, this is what matters.
Right.
That doesn't. When the audience was telling you, no, something else matters.
In a way, it's ironic that the Indiana Fever and WNBA are only now learning how essential Caitlin Clark is, but this insight has been delayed for months. Clark has endured unjust treatment, harassment, and disdain on the court from players and even her own teammates. The league did not intervene to protect her when she most needed it, and now that she is thinking about leaving, the WNBA is frantically trying to retain her.
This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. and she's a rookie.
Caitlin has a 4-year contract with the Indiana Fever, and they're doing everything they can to keep her there. They have already begun to make comments that if she departs for Europe, she would be sacked and banned from re-entering the WNBA is a desperate, harsh tactic that only serves to highlight how much they depend on her, but it could backfire. If the WNBA wants to retain her, they should prioritize making her feel appreciated rather than penalizing her for looking for better opportunities. After treating her so poorly throughout the season, it's almost absurd that they would turn to such measures. Rather than providing her with the respect and safety she deserves, they're making the same mistakes by attempting to coerce her into staying when it's obvious she's already thinking about leaving.
And to act like there isn't or hasn't been legitimate resentment emanating from those who are pioneers. Nobody's fooled here. You got pundits who used to play in the WNBA, some of them who didn't, and who were speaking on behalf of those who didn't want to create that kind of noise themselves because of the negative impact. We talk about it when the men do it. If we detect jealousy, if we detect envy, if we detect resentment, and it's amongst the fellas, we put it out there. Shit, we act like it's the latest episode of General Hospital. But when the ladies are feeling that way about another young lady like Caitlin Clark, and people like myself and Shay Shay call it out, suddenly it's a problem.
Desperation like this only serves to harm the WNBA's reputation. They've realized too late that they have nothing without Caitlin Clark, and now instead of making amends, they're threatening to keep her stuck in a league that has repeatedly let her down. This is a risky move that could ultimately drive her away permanently. At the core of the problem is that Caitlin Clark should have the freedom to play wherever she wants. The off-season is a time when players should be free to look for other opportunities, rest, or hone their skills. For Caitlin, the opportunity to play in Europe is more than just a career move. It's a means of escaping the toxic environment she's been dealing with all year in the WNBA. She deserves the chance to experience a new league where she won't be singled out or mistreated.
Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be the case.
Given everything she has been through, it is understandable why Caitlin is thinking about leaving the WNBA after such a terrible season in which she has been singled out by other players hurt on the court and received little to no protection from officials or even her own team. Why should she be forced to remain in a league that has done so little to protect her? Players should have more independence during the off-season, but the WNBA and Indiana Fever are attempting to deny her that opportunity. Caitlin is a person, not simply a contract, and she should have the freedom to choose for herself. It is absurd to think that she could be dismissed or barred from the league completely for pursuing a chance in Europe.
People decide what they want. I didn't say they were right. No, I said they decide what they want.
Before Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, the league was struggling to establish a reputation. Viewership numbers were stagnant, sponsorship deals were few, and there wasn't much buzz about the league. However, when Clark took the court, everything changed. Her game started to attract crowds that rivaled some NBA games, something no one had previously believed was possible. The WNBA, which had long been under the shadow of its male counterpart, suddenly found itself with a player who could compete with the NBA in terms of viewership.
Don't need to lower the rim for people to be interested in women's basketball. Don't need this grand master plan. We need to continue to elevate the star players of the game. We need to continue to build and promote these storylines and rivalries.
Her impact was indisputable. She was able to draw in audiences that the WNBA had been vying for years, and it was thanks to Caitlin Clark that the league was finally receiving the recognition it deserved. However, despite everything Clark has done for the league has failed to defend, support, and value her contributions, leaving fans perplexed. The question of why the WNBA would permit their biggest star to be treated in this manner looms large as the likelihood of Clark leaving becomes more real. Without her, the WNBA may very well revert to its days of struggling to garner attention. The league needs Caitlin Clark as a spark, but the WNBA has allowed that fire to go out rather than stoking it.
And look at what the NBA became. Even when Jordan was ascending and the league clearly saw that that was the dude, and Nike was marketing the living hell out of Michael Jordan. I wanna be like Mike. It was still Bird and Magic.
She was targeted by other players in ways that went beyond the typical competitive environment as soon as she entered the league, whether out of jealousy, rivalry, or just plain animosity. It seemed as though the WNBA didn't care about protecting its star player, as Clark has endured needless roughness, dangerous plays, and injuries that were all disregarded or dismissed by league officials and coaches. One of the most obvious instances of this lack of protection occurred when Joni Carrington gave Clark a black eye during a game. This should have been taken seriously, but instead it was made fun of by her own teammates. Smith, Nilsa during a live Instagram video. One of Clark's teammates was seen laughing at the injury alongside Carrington, the player who caused the black eye. The WNBA also took no action to improve the issue. The WNBA was obviously willing to ignore the abuse Caitlin Clark was receiving, and although fans were incensed, the league did nothing to reduce tension or safeguard their star player. No meaningful action was taken against the players involved, and Clark was left on her own. Clark had to keep playing in a harsh and competitive atmosphere, and circumstances were made worse by her teams and the league's lack of support.
The Caitlin Clark effect is definitely real. I mean, we can all see that. However, experiencing it in person is totally different. The amount of 22s that I saw on the way to the arena and inside the Capital One Arena might as well have just been a home game for Caitlin Clark.
Many players seem to resent Clark for the attention she has received, even though they have directly benefited from her presence in the league. Instead of supporting her, they have turned on her, blaming her for problems that she had no part in creating. The Indiana Fever, along with the WNBA, have taken a firm stand against Caitlin Clark's potential move to Europe, and their actions speak volumes about how they view her value. Despite everything Clark has done for the league, bringing in record-breaking viewership, increasing sponsorships, and helping elevate the WNBA's profile, they are now doing whatever they can to prevent her from leaving rather than celebrating her as an asset and recognizing that this opportunity might be beneficial for her personal and professional growth. They've resorted to threats, right, to explore her options, and the league should respect that instead of standing in her way. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.